What up, my peeps? Welcome back to the Sin City Crypto PM stream, where we focus strictly on fundamental and technical analysis. My name is David. I'll be your host for today's show. Excited to be here today. What an interesting morning this morning, huh? Woke up, saw Bitcoin at around $7,000. Then we saw prices start to dip. Now, let me actually talk through this on a chart here. So I woke up around 7 a.m., which would be right here. Woke up at 7 a.m. Bitcoin opened at around 83K, so I was off by a little bit. And then we had a wick all the way down to 81.3. And so my immediate response was, okay, here we go. Another sell-off, after we gave up everything we gained, right? Since we had that massive rally after the announcement, Bitcoin dropped from wick to wick 15%. And so that's not typical of bull market rallies. You get pullbacks, but you don't lose everything you gained just 2 days prior. And so my initial thought was, okay, obviously I don't have a chart open at the time. Charts aside, where it's just the sentiment's still shit. People are still bearish. Price is going to continue to go down. And then price started rallying. Now, I did enter a short position at around 85.8 for BTC, which is around this level I had here. And I like to look at how has price historically reacted, right? Resistance, 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 chop, chop, chop. Then we had that big breakout, but we know there was a base off of that bullish news. And on the way back down, we kind of caught this as support. Then it flipped to resistance. We chopped sideways, and then we fell through. So I was expecting price to slow down and for it to reverse. Now, we did get stopped out on our on our short position as prices continue to climb. I had my stop loss around 87 or 86.8 or 87K. And so that is where we are now, $86,500, which is another key level for Bitcoin. And what we're seeing here this is a 1 hour, we're seeing a bull flag pattern play out. Now, will this play out? Who knows? Potentially. There's just so much volatility, and you have a big event coming up in about an hour and 10 minutes. Donald Trump will be giving his, I believe it's the first State of the Union address to Congress. And he's kind of been pumping this up. I'm going to tell it like it is. Got a big announcement. We had news with Ukraine, and now they want to sign the minerals deal. And so the markets with someone like Trump, and we saw it in the stock market today, and I'll pull up the Dow chart. Or, you know what? I'll pull up the triple Q. Okay, where's my macro? Here we go. I'll pull up the triple Q. And prices were kind of all over the place today. Okay. And so let me zoom into the 4 hour. And so you had price get as high. And you know what? Let me just make this super simple. Look at this candle here. Okay. You want to talk about a spinning top? Almost a doji. Bulls pushed the price up to 500. Bears pushed it down to 487, and we closed. What is that? $1? $1 to where we opened. And so lots of indecision in the market for the NASDAQ, for the triple Q. And you saw the same thing happening in BTC. And so there's too much unknowns, right? Unless you're in the know, unless you're one of Donald Trump's kids or an insider, you know what he's going to say and how it's going to move the markets. We don't know. He might come out and say we're placing extra tariffs on this country and we're not supporting these guys. And then the markets start to sell off. The bad news here is, what is the only market that is currently open? It is crypto. Everything else is closed. Stock market's not open. Can't trade the NASDAQ. Can't trade the S&P. Can't trade stocks, NVIDIA, none of it. So the only place you can go if you want to go risk off after he gives a speech is going to be the futures, the pre-market, which I don't even think people are able to trade that around that time anyways. But the only other one is going to be Bitcoin and altcoins and crypto. So I expect volatility. Now, right now, you can see on the hour, we're kind of chopping sideways here, right? We're consolidating around the 86.5 level. I do expect this level to hold. And again, this bull flag pattern for it to potentially break out. And you're talking about your move for this breakout, depending on, of course, if we do break out from 86.5, we're back to 93.4, which coincides with our last last high we had, which was that on the way back down, right? We got up to that 95K level. We started to form a bull flag, and then we just completely broke. Now, that initial rally before we got that massive liquidation candle was up to this 93.5 level, which is also our measured move for this bull flag here. And so for me, trading wise, I am staying sidelined until I see what the hell is happening, because unless you guys in the chat have some information I don't, you want to give it to me, I can use it to trade. I'll be more than happy to. But I'm curious to see how price reacts. This price level should hold. Flipping 86.5 is your structural change that you're looking for to flip the chart of the market, or to flip the direction, the structure of the Bitcoin chart. Will it hold? Who knows? Could he come out and just crap on everyone and the markets don't like it and we drop back down and we try to test 84K again? More than likely, $82,000, which seems like investors or traders have identified this price level. As you can see here, even if we don't count the ones that barely made it, 4 consecutive days or 4 consecutive hourly candles where we saw price wick down into this region and then just immediately reverse and either close higher than it opened, or at least close above your 82K level. And so those are the levels I'm looking at. Now, depending on the news, if the market I feel like is overreacting, I will long here at 82,000. And if I feel like the market is not overreacting and we do get a drawdown, depending on what we do, could we see some consolidation around 84,000? Sure. Could we see some around 82K? Sure. But needless to say, you don't need me to tell you this, we've seen a lot of massive volatility in the markets. And I did put up a post for our Patreon members, some key events happening this week. It's not just today. You have a lot happening throughout the entire week, a lot of numbers coming out. You have Friday, the Crypto Summit. We shared in the morning live show who is going to be there, who's going to be speaking, who's going to have the ear of the president. Michael Saylor is one of them. CEO of Exodus is another one. You got Andrew Huang from VC firm Paradigm. They're going to be there. And so what kind of news are we going to get out of that one? We're going to get no cap gains tax. So I expect a lot of big price swings this week. And with someone like Trump, never knowing what that man is going to say, you want to take a swing, you're going to hit some big ones, but you're probably going to get liquidated on a few ones depending on what kind of leverage you're using. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm staying sidelined until I see what happens with the markets. Again, I'll be more than happy to enter into a long or even add to my spot bags at around $82,000. Maybe putting in a long at 84, depending on how price reacts and depending on what we see on the lower time frames. But right now, if price stays above, we've flipped the structure of the chart. Okay, and let me do this so we can see. Now on the way up, this again on the hourly, on the way up from this morning, we've created two gaps, two fair value gaps. One lays between 85.4 and 86.5, which we're currently at right now. And the other one is 83.7 to 85.1. Now, do I expect these gaps to fill? Potentially. Could we get some uber bullish news and we never come visit these levels again? Sure. But at the end of the day, no one knows. And if anyone tells you that they know, then they're flat out lying too. We also had a change of character on the chart, meaning we took out enough highs and enough lows to be able to change essentially, again, the structure of the chart. No big order blocks here. The only one you really have is up here, which we saw massive amounts of buyers versus sellers. And if you throw on your VRVP, you can see lots of action happening around that 84.5 level, which if you look here, we had a massive liquidity grab to the upside. And then that's where we saw our rally for the price of BTC. Now, on the flip side, we have some gaps up here that obviously I do expect us to fill. One being between 87.7 to 89.8, and the other one in 91.3 to around 92.818. And again, that leads into two large order blocks plus the last big high we had after Bitcoin failed to take out the previous high of $94,300. So again, just keep an eye on the chart. But if you zoom out on the longer time frame, this would have been so legendary to turn this candle, last week's candle, to green, but we ended up not doing it. But the good news here is we've had multiple weeks in a row where we see that traders, investors are absolutely indecisive, right? This was a decisive week of trading and buying. This was a decisive week of trading and buying. So was this. This was a decisive week of selling. This currently, as it stands so far, is a pretty decisive week of selling. But prior to that, starting from February, really, the markets have been bipolar, right? Bears can't get control. Bulls can't get control. Bears have the edge. They're pushing the prices down. They're creating lower highs and lower lows. But again, we still have around 5 days left to see where this candle closes. And again, we've already filled one fair value gap to the downside that we created when we had this massive rally from around $68,000 to $108,000. The next one, your lower level, is going to be $73,000. Now, up until about 3-4 days ago, I expected that level to fulfill. And then we saw that nice big reversal. We gave it all back. Do I think we're going back down to 73K again? 60-40, yes. I would love to be wrong. I'd love to be right. Either way, I'm going to make money on both ends. But this is something to keep an eye on for. But the main target here, you want to talk about structure on the weekly chart. You cannot lose. Let me drop you cannot lose this level. You cannot lose 61.9 to 71.9. If we break below and we spend any significant amount of time in this area, I would look for a relief rally, stopping out around 82 to 84, 86.5, and then a spill off. And that would be that second wave where we fail to make a new high and then the spill off. And at that point, if that happens and we come back down to test this, we're probably in a bear market. And we look forward to the next one. So we'll see what happens. I don't think that is not my base case. That is not what I think is happening. But at the end of the day, you got to be prepared for literally everything. All right, I'm just going to check in on the chat here. If you're new here, say hello. Welcome. I'm David. Istophobic said, if he says tariff, I'm slamming my sack. Oh, man. I guess if you already have kids, that's cool, man. He says if he says tariff again, I'm slamming my sack in the corridor. That's got to hurt. We below the 200-day moving average. Yes, we are, my friend. Yes, we are. And I am actually going to. I like to keep the show also community-driven as well. So chats now on the daily time frame. The 200-day moving average ribbon has actually held up fairly well as support on the higher time frame. But if you zoom out to the 4-hour, we're trading below. 6-hour trading below. 8-hour, 12-hour, all time frames trading below. Looks like we're trying to flip the hourly on this MA ribbon here. 2-hour, too far away. But on the higher time frames, the 2-day, the daily, we are still trading above. And actually, again, this has been a great area to enter longs into BTC, especially on this candle here, which ended up also being a hammer candle that reversed price to the upside from close to open 84.2 to $94,000. So yeah, I mean, higher time frames, it's still fine. Daily is cutting it close. If we lose the daily 200-day EMA, you're looking at either you lose the 200, you're going back down into the 70s. In my personal opinion, I could be wrong, but if you lose the 200-day EMA, you're looking at sub 80K, right? Which is going to be your lower line here. And so we'll see what happens though. No one knows. Again, we have a president that shoots from the hip. And so you try to front run him. He says one wrong thing, you're going to get screwed, or you front run him and you're right on the money. You're going to make a shitload of money. Just be careful with your leverage. It's not an official State of the Union. Yeah, I mean, I saw State of the Union. I know it's he's addressing Congress, and so yeah. But Trump will have nasty Nancy behind him. He might announce tonight that he's the 19th president of the Republic. Stockfo tells us how badly Bitcoin wants to go up right now. I know. You just look at. I've been in the space since 2016. Like realistically though, like in the space, research every day. We started the YouTube channel in 2021, but 2019, 2020, can even say 2018, I really started hammering down into research. And so, yeah, I mean, you're seeing some things and you're seeing models that are broken and people are trying to find ways to manipulate the numbers to make it essentially like confirmation bias. Like, okay, well, it's supposed to show this, but it's deviating to this. At the end of the day, every cycle looks different. There's some markers, some things you can look out for, whether it's, I don't know, the pi cycle indicator, whether you look at minors, the Puel multiple, whatever indicators you personally use. And for everyone, it's different. I have probably a different set of indicators and things I look at versus you watching. But this cycle truly has been different, right? From the very beginning, hitting all-time highs before the halving started, or before the halving was complete. So yeah, I mean, I don't think we're out of the bull market, but this cycle is definitely different. But the good news is, if institutions were not here, we would definitely be in a bear market right now, because retail is absolutely broke. They are absolutely broke right now. So really what's holding us up, obviously you have the whales, but it's institutions. I mean, we've seen a lot of money flow into the Bitcoin ETF over the last 9 months. Greg Nowak said, why is the Sin City merch page not working? So we're actually revamping that page. We're actually be coming out with a new one. So give us some time and we'll have some Sin City merch up for you guys. John Francis said, wonder if XLM can go back to 60 cents again. I like XLM, John. I'm a big XLM fan. Let's take a look at an XLM chart here. Also, if there's anything you want me to take a look at, give my thoughts, some value areas where if you're wondering, hey, is now a good time to get into XLM? Is now a good time to get into, I don't know, any project? Or, hey, what are your thoughts on this one? Feel free to drop them in the comment section. And so just, I don't know, let's draw a couple trend lines here to see what we got going. So you have essentially a falling, call it a falling wedge pattern, okay? You had this deviation outside and price kind of consolidated on top. You did have an attempted breakout here, right? You did have an attempted breakout, and then we fell right back into this pattern. Now, the good news is we're gearing towards the end of this pattern, okay? So it's going to break. It's going to break one way or the other. It's either going to break to the upside or it's going to break to the downside. Now, with falling wedges like this one, they do typically break to the upside. And I would love to say, you know what? Can this still be, and this is on the daily, by the way, can this still be a big bull flag here? Let's find out. We're right there. I mean, you're at your 618 golden ratio level. That's where price is right now. And this is drawn the fib from the initial move from around 9 cents, which if you've been watching our live show in the morning, before we even started this show here, the PM stream, we were calling for XLM at 9 cents, and that thing rode all the way up to close to 65 cents. So you're at a key level here. You're at the 618 level. And so you see how price has reacted here. We saw a big drawdown from around 33.5 cents. We had a wick all the way down to 25.7 cents. Came back, closed the candle green. It's on the daily again. And this ended up being a beautiful hammer candle that sent us from close to the next wick around 31%. And so that is where we currently are now. And so XLM, I mean, a potential bull flag pattern is still in play. If that doesn't play out, you still got this falling wedge here, which we do have some wiggle room to the downside, which is 26.15 cents. Now, again, you can get deviations in and out of, we could get deviation to the downside and we come right back in. Or as you see here, deviation outside to the upside essentially formed a head and shoulders pattern. You guys can see that, right? Where's my drawing? Where's my brush? So you had this big breakout. We created our first initial shoulder, came up, made a higher high, trended down, lower high, and then this neckline broke, and we broke to the downside, and we caught support. You came into kind of a mini cup and handle pattern. Not really, because the handle extended past 50% of where your cup was. And then we just stayed in this falling pattern. And so you have a few things going for you. One, we're at the 618 level. And if I throw on the MA bands, let's see where that's coming in at. So you have a lot of confluence here for XLM to bounce. You got your 618 Fibonacci level. You got this pattern we're in, two of them, a potential bull flag pattern, but a falling wedge. And you're also at, you're close to the lower end. And so, I mean, what else would you be waiting for XLM? Unless you think the project is dead, is not going anywhere, which I'm not in that camp. XLM's chart actually looks pretty good on the higher time frame. Let's look at that's where it was, the weekly. The weekly is where we had that bull flag pattern. Yeah, that's a beautiful one. And you can see here, right? We were getting that breakout, and then yeah, we gave it all back. But again, my absolute rock bottom for XLM would be 26 cents, 25.9. But even if you fall below, you still have strong support at your 200-day MA, your MA ribbon here. So I'm super bullish on XLM. I think it's an absolute sleeper. People don't give it enough credit. Kind of gets lost in the shadows of XRP. I'm not going to sit here and say one does payments better than the other, but XLM's got two narratives. It's got payments and it's got RWA. And it's got a co-founder with a lot of connections, including to one, Elon Musk. So I'm just going to check back in the chat. We got 227 people watching, 58 likes. Do us a favor, guys. Hit the like button. What's going on, Poman? How you doing, brother? Greg said, let me check. Usually notifies me when I block some, though. Dark Energy, what's going on, brother? Hi, Jay Violet. How are you? Jay Violet, I know you wanted to be a mod. If I see you in here 10 more times, I will make you a mod. James Niels said, Ondo. I love Ondo. I'm a big Ondo bull. I think the announcement of the Ondo chain, this is again on the weekly for Ondo. You know, let's just go through and let's identify some value areas for Ondo here. Okay. So the first value area for me personally for Ondo is going to be here. That is my first accumulate. If you've been waiting to open up a position on Ondo, this would be a great area. Of course, NFA, not financial advice. But you're looking at, let me drop a couple flags here for you guys. You're looking at between 55 and 81 cents. I know there's a pretty big gap, but again, this is on the higher time frame. Now we work our way down to the lower time frames. You can see how price has reacted in this value area. We've seen consolidation and a bounce every single time, right? Outside of it during its inception. And you go out to the daily. Ondo has officially broken and closed below its 200-day moving average. And so last time this happened, Ondo came into an inverse head and shoulders pattern, and then it was bumping up against this. We saw negative price action, really, negative market structure from August of last year until November. So a solid, 3 months? 3 months of trading below this 200-day moving average ribbon. And so are we going to see the same thing now? I don't think so. You're talking about a time where the markets were moving, but Bitcoin was kind of flat. If you guys remember, March till like September, Bitcoin was about as boring as it gets. Try being a content creator and doing a live show 5 days a week and doing upload content when Bitcoin is just going from 62 to 65,000 for like 9 months. It was pretty rough. But yeah, Ondo. And again, if we just zoom out a little bit more to the 4 hour, let me get rid of this MA ribbon. So we're bearish on all time frames here, but I'm sure you already knew that. Now let's take a look at some key areas. I like to use this price action concepts indicator. It gives me some good kind of visual of important levels where a lot of money and exchanges happen price-wise. You see the largest order block we had was here between $1.21 and $1.26, where we saw 20% of all volume fall into this region. And we saw about 1.5 to 1 on sellers versus buyers. And this is an area where Ondo kind of chopped. And then we saw a spill off of around 30%. Now, Ondo is currently on the way down, created a fair value gap, which I do expect to get filled. And that is between $1 flat and around $1.10. But again, if you can catch Ondo, those levels we talked about, right? That value area between 55 and 81 cents, you are going to make money unless something fundamentally changes with the project. And this would have been pretty nice. Either way, I'm a big bull on Ondo. They got BlackRock on their side. Now, the big one here is going to be Ondo Chain, right? Because up till now, Ondo didn't really have any utility for their token, for their coin. It was an ERC token. It was just pretty much a governance token. With Ondo Chain, not sure. I haven't seen the tokenomics. I haven't seen the utility, what it's going to be used for. So I'm assuming it's going to be the Ondo token will be used for gas. You could see a scenario where some like Uniswap where they have a token, but it's not used for gas. They still use the layer 1, which is going to be ETH. But for Ondo chain, if they leverage the Ondo token for gas, that's an extra utility, an extra potential buy pressure. Forgot the word I was looking for. Buy pressure for the price of the token to go up. And so I expect to bounce at around 80 cents for Ondo. If it does get down there, I fully expect this area to be flipped from resistance to support. And again, where price accumulates and where we see chop, that is usually a very strong area when it comes back to retest to either enter into a long or add to your bags or accumulate. So, but yeah, I'm super bullish on Ondo. David is long XLM. Yes, he is. Can we check on ADA? Absolutely. We can check on ADA. My head hurts from these dips. Yeah, join the club, brother. You know, when you got your own channel and you're trying to make content, you can't really like get sad or upset and just like turn off your phone or your TV for a week and step away. You got to be in it every single day. You watch your portfolio go down 300K in 3 days and you're like, well, got to wake up in the morning and go live and do content. But you know, I do that. I still enjoy doing it because that's really what I love to do. I love to educate people and kind of share my ideas and thoughts. I'm not always right, but at least all the research and time I spend into the space, love to give that knowledge to you guys. Isophobic said XCN if you get bored and have some free time. Okay, I'll take a look at that maybe. All right, so Cardano actually showing a little bit of strength here. If I remember correctly, Cardano was one of the few that rallied this morning. And we see here on the daily, this was ugly. So you see Bitcoin, and here, you know what? Let's do this. I'm gonna slap let's slap Solana on here. No, not there. I want ADA there. I want Solana here. So I want to go to the 1 day. Okay, there we go. That's what I want to show. Okay, so you want to talk about strength, okay? I want you to focus on 2 candles. Candle 1, candle 2. Candle from Sunday, March 2nd. Candle Monday, March 3rd. Sunday, March 2nd. Monday, March 3rd. Now, Cardano rallied. Again, this candle was 72%. Solana gave it all back. Let's look at XRP. Did XRP give it all back? Not quite. Bitcoin definitely gave it all back. Cardano, out of the 5 coins, and we can take a look at ETH too. No, ETH, I want you here. I want Cardano there. ETH gave back more than what it gained. And so when you look at the 5 tokens that were mentioned in the Crypto Strategic Reserve, they all pumped. But Cardano gave back the least amount that it gained the day prior. And the very next candle, it saw another pretty big day. That was another 10% gain for ADA. Telling you, man, ADA, a lot of people like to hate on it. They like to hate on Charles. I get it. The guy is very outspoken. Sometimes he says some crazy shit. He's very passionate. He speaks his mind. He has no filter. Now people are saying he's Canadian and not from the States because they want to try to find a narrative to say that Cardano is not a made in USA crypto. It's just funny to me, man. So ADA's absolutely showing strength. And let's look at the 4 hour, okay? Too deep of a retracement to call it a bull flag, okay? But we did catch support at 81 cents. And these are levels I've had on here for a while. Okay, I like to keep levels on here. The only time I'll get rid of levels is if something gets invalidated and it no longer becomes a key level for me to keep an eye on. I'll get rid of it. But 81.5 cents, this would have been a perfect setup for a long. Now, but here you go, 98 cents. So could we see a scenario where here we saw Cardano fall in to between 59 and 81 cents? And I know that's a big gap. And even if we move this up here, okay, we'll call it from 67 to 81 cents. We saw chop. We hit the upper trend line. We come back down, put in a higher low, put in a higher low. lower low, essentially creating almost a head and shoulders pattern, but not really, because your head and shoulders were, I mean, if we zoom in enough, we can probably see a little discrepancy, but anytime it's that close, you just invalidate it. Come back down, retest the bottom end, right? Deviate outside, and then come break through 3 key levels in 2 candles. And these are 4-hour candles. And then come back down and retest. Could we see something similar where Cardano spent, and I'll even stop at the breakout to the downside, where Cardano spent around 22 days in this channel just chopping sideways. Could we see something similar here? I don't think so. I really don't think so. There is so much happening behind the scenes with Cardano. The treasury is online. You have this made in America thing, right? The made in the USA, the crypto strategic reserve. There's a lot of bullish catalysts. And I know Cardano ran from 30 cents to, let's get rid of some of this stuff. No, Cardano ran from 30 cents down here. This is back in November of last year. 30 cents to $1.30, okay? That was a 300%. That was a 4x out of Cardano versus when you look at projects like Solana, going all the way back to October of 2023, okay? That is really where Solana had its bottom. And the reason I'm going further out on Solana versus Cardano is because Cardano's bottom was essentially 33 cents. Initial rally, half a year, less than half a year, 850%. From cycle low to current cycle high, a 14x out of Solana. And a project like Cardano is only seen, and I say only because I know historically how Cardano has moved. When it moves, it moves. And all you got to do is go out and let's go to the weekly and let's go to Cardano in 2021. Okay. It was 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row. We had a 91% gain in a week, 27% gain in a week, 30% gain in a week, 20% gain in a week. Then we had a little bit of a cool off consolidation. Then we saw 21%, 33%, 30%. And then the final top, which the rally started the week of July 19th of 2021, it was up only for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. It was up only with 52% weeks and 25% weeks. And then it spilled off. So we haven't even seen anything similar. I mean, I guess if you want to take this fractal here, right? Let's just measure this move here. And I like to look at historical price action and how price is done. So we had his initial rally of around 970%. I know that ain't no 970% rally. And then we saw consolidation for around 77 days. And where are we at with this consolidation currently? 98 days. So we've consolidated, chopped sideways longer than we did before we saw that second breakout from a low of around $1.03 to a high of around $2.45. And so I expect another massive rally out of Cardano. My base case for Cardano for this cycle, I know it's going to sound crazy, but is over $10. Is over $10. When you look at if this strategic, and that's contingent on the strategic reserve happening and ADA being included. Because guess what? The US has Bitcoin. They can use that as part of the strategic reserve. ETH, there's ETFs, right? You are, and Cardano, like Ripple, you have the Ripple Foundation. They can probably sell OTC. ETH, there's OTC. There's depth in OTC market. Same thing with Bitcoin. Solana, same thing. The Solana Foundation, plus all those hundreds of millions of dollars from the FTX bankruptcy estate. It's the reason I'm saying this stuff is because these are all potential scenarios of where the US government can find these coins, these tokens. But for Cardano, where are they going to go? Do you guys know of a Cardano OTC desk that these large exchanges have? I'm sure there is, but it ain't as deep as Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or probably XRP. And so the Cardano Foundation, are they going to go to them and buy it? We know the treasury is locked. It's a governance model. So they're going to have to go out and buy the ADA on top of everything happening. And this is the first full cycle. Guys got to remember, Cardano did this with zero functionality, no smart contracts, no tokens, no dApps, no nothing. And you're telling me that 4 years later, when the ecosystem has grown and it's got dApps and it's going to have an ETF, it's fully decentralized, it's got governance model, it's got a treasury, that we're not going to see something similar, that we're not going to get back to at least $3.18? I don't know. That to me is it's not common sense. It just doesn't make sense to me. Now, if the project was dead and no one was building on it, sure. And I know a lot of people like to say that, but I feel like those are people who either just love to hate on Cardano or haven't actually gone into that ecosystem and tried some of their dApps. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Cardano's got a bigger ecosystem than Solana or a bigger ecosystem than ETH. It doesn't. It doesn't. But to say nothing happens, I think that's a fallacy. All right, checking in on the chat here. Also checking in on my energy drink. Cheers to you guys. By the way, did you guys see that SNL skit? A couple of beers with Shane Gillis. That was hilarious. All right, Andrea. What's up, Andrea? How are you? Good to see you in here. Cash and Crypto said, hola, brola. What's going on, my brother? How you doing? Dark Energy, thanks for all the great work you guys do at Sin City. Hey, man, it is my absolute pleasure. Love doing this. It's fun. You know what's very rewarding is both my sons, they both started their own YouTube channel. And so, one of them today, my middle son, Liam, he comes to me and goes, Dad, look, this one's got 900 views. And he's asking me about my opinion on if he should change the title. So it's pretty awesome, man. For me, it's definitely a family thing. And so I just love that, my kids are seeing me in a light of, hey, I'm proud of what my dad's doing. Something I want to do too. I think that's pretty awesome. Because, the line of work I come from, ain't nobody grow up and trying to be a restaurant server. Tell you that much. Nobody grows up and says, I want to grow up and be a food server. No one. And this is coming from someone who's been in that industry for his entire working career. So no shot against people who do that for a living. I made a shitload of money doing that. But at the end of the day, it's not something you aspire to do or to be. Can't wait till it hits $3 to $5. $3 to $5 is like a no-brainer to me, at least. It's a foregone conclusion. All right, I want to show you guys. So you guys know, if you've been watching me on our channel, we absolutely destroyed AI. We crushed it. I don't know about you guys, but the people that were part of our groups that followed us, we made. I think I made 200 or 300 X's. Now, of course, I didn't sell all of them at 100X, but it did hit 100X, made really good money. And of course, everything has gone down since then. But one of the projects that I brought to our Rail members and now the Patreon group was Simpson AI. We brought this to our people at around 4 million in market cap. Now, this thing did get all the way up to $40 million. So you're looking at a 10X. And this happened in a very short period of time. I have met with this team. You're talking about NASA engineers and aerospace engineers. And so this is an update they posted. So Simpson AI is essentially it falls into the AI agent, DeFi agent category. DeFi. How do you even say that? So dumb. Anyways, take a look at this. This is pretty dope. Also, if you got into Simpson and you're still holding, put a 1 in the chat. I'm still holding. I haven't sold any. So it's essentially, this is their turn here. Let's start it over because I kind of want to talk through it and I muted the music. This is their terminal and it executes trades for you. So you can see, right? I want to long, why is this not stopping? There we go. I want to long Solana with $100, 10X leverage. And so you put that request into the terminal, tells you, all right, you're about to go long with a 10X leverage backed by $100 in USDC. And then, it's got some funny whatever in there. And then it's like, okay, here you go. Matching requests, scanning Solana wallet for tokens, and then trade summary. Asset, direction, how much, what currency, what leverage. You click confirm. And that's it. And so, when we talk about automating and AI agents, and I believe Simpson was also the very first AI agent to ever do a cross-chain transaction or a cross-chain trade. So that was pretty awesome, man. So I'm bullish on the team. I'm bullish on the project. And you're talking about from a price action standpoint, this dumpster fire of a trend line, right? Essentially this falling wedge, it officially broke, right? It officially broke. Now, with current market sentiments, seeing as this is considered pretty niche, seeing as this is considered more risk on than larger cap alts and Bitcoin, obviously, I fully expect price to retrace to this level here. Fully expect it, which is going to be around 32.82. Okay, obviously it's got a bunch of zeros in front of it, but this is a $4.6 million market cap. And I know a lot of people, this shakeout of AI kind of scared them. It did not scare me. We see that in every single niche, every single sector, especially a new one. New sector emerges, everything runs. You literally launch a project, slap AI on it, and it runs. Doesn't matter what it does. People don't care. They don't read the white paper. They don't care about the tokenomics. They see, oh, this is AI. Oh, this is an AI agent. Let me bid it. Everything runs up, and you see a massive flush. Massive flush, a washout. Majority go to zero. Some kind of get relief rallies, trend to zero, and others emerge as leaders in the space, and the next wave comes in. Now, the next wave is catapulted by the blue chips that have been around that have continued building, and also new projects with infrastructure and ideas that were already proven in the last run. So last run, proven-wise, we had AI agents that can execute trades. We saw it at the tail end of that big narrative push. This cycle, for those coins to run, you have to already have the infrastructure in place. You're not going to get a project that comes in, and I'm sure there'll be exceptions to the rule, okay? You'll get 1 or 2 or 10 or 50. I don't even know the number. Come in and say, we are building this. This is what this can do in 6 months or a year when we release. People aren't going to bid those. Guess what? Because this time around, when the next rally comes for AI and AI agents, Simpson's already doing it. YMAC is already doing it. Another one we gave to our Patreon members. Where's YMAC at? This one we got in uber early. We got in extremely early on this one. I want to say we got in before it even bonded. And to the OGs in the chat, let me know, did we get into this before it bonded? I'm pretty sure we got in at like an 800K market cap, okay? Currently sitting at $1 million, got all the way up to $7.5 million in market cap. This thing was running. The dev here is ex-Kraken and ex-Coinbase, I believe, or ex-MetaMask and ex-Kraken. And so lots of ties to the market. And if you haven't followed, and you know what, let's actually... So this guy right here. Okay, Polygon and Coinbase. I was completely off. I said Kraken and whatever the hell I said. But even when prices were just dying, okay, this guy kept building new features, keeping the community updated, great communication. And since then, although the prices dwindled down, okay, the prices dwindled down, the growing and the building has not. And so this is a project. This is what I look for. The biggest opportunities you get is when a narrative rallies, you see a big shakeout, and then the narrative emerges again. You look at a project like AIXBT. Cardano is actually knocking on the door of $1. BTC at 87,314, so seeing a little bit of a rally. But let's take a look at AIXBT. This is a project I am super bullish on. Let's see if we have enough data here. This is fine. Actually, no, it's not. I want to go to... I think this one, Mexi, should be good. Yeah, a little more data there. Okay. You're at... There's not much lower this thing could go. It's at 16.5 cents. Okay. You're talking about an AI agent that is essentially the #1 KOL on Twitter when it comes to crypto. And it's got a great team. Again, that team, I met with him. I'm actually in a Telegram group with him. I'm not going to dox his name, but they continue to build. And this is a project that I believe is going to have a strong bounce back. And, you know, shout out to Forrest. You know, Forrest, And this is a homage to Forrest here. And I'm not comparing the two. I just want to show you side by side. He brings up the Axie Infinity chart a lot. And he says, look, if anyone remembers, Axie Infinity had a massive, and that's not Axie Infinity. There we go. Axie Infinity. Let's go Bitstamp. Axie Infinity. That's an ugly ass chart right there. God damn. All right, let's try it one more time. Jesus. All right, Coinbase. So Axie Infinity, okay? Let me zoom out. Okay, so this is going back to September of 21. Axie Infinity went from $98 down to $50. So it drew down 70%, around 60%. And then price absolutely rallied. And another big pullback was here. This was from a high of around $156 to $111. And price continued to rally. Now on this dip, everyone said, oh, it's over. It's made its all-time high. There's no way it's bouncing back. And then guess what? The second leg kicked up and Axie Infinity went to new highs. So that's kind of where I see AIXBT. And again, the only way you're not bullish on AIXBT is if you don't believe AI is making a comeback in the narrative space, which I am not one of those people. All right. Your beliefs are going to zero. Mohammed, I like you. You're a funny guy. Talos. Yeah, Talos is the Cardano agent. We're 30 minutes away from Trump speaking. So 30 minutes away. Let's take a look at where the markets are currently. You got BTC at 87.2, right? Your biggest gainer of the day is Cardano, up 10%. Why is it doing that? Why is this not up? Oh, there we go. Okay. Cardano up 17%. Aave up 16%. I'm a big Aave bull. Shared some news on Aave in the morning live show. And then Hedera, right? What does this chart tell you? What does it tell you that the top gainers on a day like today are high, outside of Bitcoin Cash, are high utility projects? I know we make fun of Tron all the time. Tron, Monero, XRP, Hedera, Aave, Cardano. Do you see any meme coins in here outside of Trump? None, not a single one. And so that's why we tell you, man, when you start making money and you start going down the risk curve on speculation, if you're going to keep your money in crypto, either put it in stables and wait for dips or just rotate that capital back into solid projects. You make a 20x on a meme coin and Cardano's sitting at 40 cents, roll that thing into Cardano, man. You protect your capital and then you would have had a 2x by now. So biggest losers of the day. Meme coin, dog with hat. WorldCoin also down 7.7%. Litecoin, let's see, maybe Litecoin is a good pickup at $103. Let's take a look. So this is Litecoin on the daily. You're seeing kind of this channel here that Litecoin is. No, where's my drawing tool? There we go. This box. This is $99 and $137. And so strategy, long the support at $100, nice round even number, and then sell at the resistance. And then on the way back, just short your $137 level. But eventually this is going to break out. Okay. This is going to break out. And I'm going to zoom out and let me see if we can see if we had something similar in previous markets. So this was back in August of 21. This was let me draw a rectangle here. This was another area of consolidation, right? So it's between August and September. So that lasted a month. And the one we're currently in is from November of last year. So a lot longer consolidation. And then eventually it came back, made lower lows, and then went up to make a new all-time high. And so, just looking at the chart, Litecoin outside of like bear markets, doesn't really see a lot of consolidation during bull markets. You have one here, right? Price kind of chops. You can even extend it this way. Between $125 and $165. This went on from January 11th of 21 to February. So another short month, and then it moved to the upside. This one, again, a month. And then this is bear market. And so this long consolidation, we don't really count that, right? And that's where we're at with Litecoin. So this is the longest consolidation period we've seen with Litecoin so far, at least in a bull market. So I expect Litecoin to make new all-time highs. I know Rob doesn't. I'm more bullish on Litecoin than he is, not for any specific reason other than it's been around for a very long time. And people, it's got longevity, it's got brand. People, Litecoin, I know for me, when I first started buying, like very, very early, it was like, oh, Bitcoin's too expensive, but Litecoin's only $10 and Bitcoin is, $5,000 or whatever the number was. So I think Litecoin's going to make a new high, but it's, again, kind of range bound between that $100 and $137. All right, guys, that'll do it for the show today. I want to thank every single one of you for tuning in. Thank you all so much. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and come back tomorrow morning for the morning live show. Also, be careful trading with leverage. There's going to be some volatility in about 22 minutes. President Donald Trump will be giving his address to Congress. What will he say? If we get some bullish news, we could see Bitcoin over 92K. 92.5 is a level I'd be looking at if we do get a rally to the upside. Now, if it's bearish, 82 is going to be important. If 82 fails, you're looking at sub 80K. So keep those things in mind. Thank you again. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.